in.
Thank you for joining me, the Old Grumpy Prosperity Team, and the Prosperous Divas for this special presentation of Grow Your Mind and Money. We're interviewing Walt Kaser, acclaimed basketball coach and creator of a nationally recognized Basketball Hall of Fame in Frisco, Texas. Walt has experienced the other side of the mountain, the valley, and the mountaintop, and has used those challenges to empower himself and others to stay the course and take the actions to fulfill their visions and dreams in all areas of life. Walt's willingness to share his heart and not just his knowledge to make a difference has him be a champion for humanity. Before we continue, it's time to see what prospering thought Mr. Ronnie has for us today.
Thank you, Candace. And, listeners, we just want to acknowledge we have a new diva, and that's Mrs. Candace James. I put the Mrs. out there so that I want y'all to get your hopes up. She's wonderful. And she'll be with us today to fill in for Empress Nakia. Now, our prosperous thought. Think and do. Put plenty of good thought into what you do, but be careful not to let the thinking crowd out the doing. Your thoughts make your actions much more effective. However, your thoughts cannot replace your action. You cannot exclusively think yourself all the way to the goal, no matter how brilliant you are. Achievement happens when thought and action are dancing together, synchronized, contributing to each other. You cannot simply think yourself out of a problem. At many points along the way, you must commit your thoughts to action. If you're not sure what to do, think about it for a while, but not too long. Then, even with an incomplete, imperfect plan, begin to act. Let your thoughts guide your actions, and let your actions inform and clarify your thoughts. Think and do. Think again and do more, all the way to the results you desire. Now, what I'm present to about myself and blowing my mind when it comes to the things think and do, I have wasted so much time getting something accomplished, thinking of how, why, and all the implications, and so that I won't be criticized. Or worse yet, I'll be in action and someone will say, well, you should have thought of that already. Oh. So what I'm present to about myself is that when I ignore the noise and get my butt in action, things start opening up for me. And whatever mistakes I make, I can correct because I'm in action. I learned something. So sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. It's time for our special interview with Coach Walt Kaser. Diva, Nikki, please take it away.
Yes, indeed. In this part of the interview, we learn about a challenge that Walt Kaser faced in having his dreams fulfilled. A challenge that knocked the wind out of his sails. Somehow, some way, he kept going and turned that challenge from seeming defeat to victory. And thank you, Coach Walt Kaser, for being on the show tonight.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, but let's get into it. Number one, my first question is, Walt, please share an incident or time in your life that knocked the wind out of your sails and the going got rough.
Well, to start off with, I was a very poor student in high school. I didn't like school. I wasn't any good at it. And I had to repeat the sophomore year. So I couldn't play basketball my fifth year in high school. It took me 5 years to graduate rather than 4. So I couldn't play my senior year, and that was tough. But I like the idea of turning a negative into a positive. So what I did, I was able to work out with the team each day, but I went into Paterson, New Jersey, which was close by Fair Lawn, where I grew up, and I was able to play with men 25, 30 years old. So actually I ended up a better basketball player with that negative thing that happened to me. And another negative thing that happened to me was when I did graduate, I went to a school in North Carolina, Pembroke State. And I was, as I said, I was such a poor student, and I only lasted one semester. So another failure. And then a year later, I went to the University of Southern Mississippi in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And I only lasted one semester there also. So when I was 23 years old, I was 23 years old when I went in the service. That's what kind of straightened me out. But prior to that, I had pretty much failed on everything except basketball. So it was, to me, I think you have to fail before you can succeed, and that was a great learning period for me.
Love it. Thank you. Number 2, during the time that you were dealing with that situation, who or what did you blame?
Well, during the period when I wasn't doing too well?
Yes, and you were not doing too well in school. Who or what
well,
did you blame?
I think the basketball saved me. The basketball, I was spending 2-3 hours on the court practicing because that's where I had my success. Everything else was kind of a failure off the floor. At the time, I had met my wife at the time, and I would go from job to job. But the one thing I had, is religion. I'm a Catholic, and I've been to church every week my whole life. I went all through Catholic school, and I think that that was a big help, having that religion. No matter how low I sunk, I always had that to fall back on. So I think that's really important. I've read a lot of coaches, the stories, why they were successful, these different coaches, and all of the successful coaches like Vince Lombardi, John Wooden, John Madden, they all had that religion. Almost every coach that I wanted to read about that was successful was also very religious. So that was a big part too.
Oh, okay. So at what point did you stop caring about who or what to blame?
I'm sorry, Nicole, repeat that?
At what point did you stop caring about who or what to blame?
Well, the military, I needed some discipline. As a youngster, I wasn't very disciplined, and my parents were good people, and I always got along with them. We weren't really, didn't have a close family. So basically, the military is what straightened me out. When I was 23, I was drafted into the Army, and that was one place where I finally got some discipline. Prior to that, I wasn't disciplined in anything except the basketball. So the Army really straightened me out, and then, of course, I got sent to Germany, and I met my future wife. When I was in Germany, my wife was teaching school over there, and we met and started dating, and then she was able to teach me how to take notes in school, how to study. So my wife actually turned my life around because she had a degree. I didn't want my kids asking me why I didn't have a degree. And the only way I was going to coach in high school or college was to have a degree. So my wife got me back into the school, college, and was a tremendous help. Without her, I would have never graduated from college, and I would have never coached at MacArthur High School. So she was a big factor in my life.
Well, I believe you have already answered my next question, which would be, when did you see the light of possibility? What happened? Well, like I said, I would contribute that to my wife. I settled down, and then I had no other choice. I always did pretty well if I had my back to the wall. Prior to getting married, I never had my back to the wall, so I would just jump from one thing to the other. No discipline. But when I got married, I had 3 years of college left, and my daughter was born, Paula. So I had my back to the wall. I mean, I can't fool around now anymore, so I really got serious. And I think we all mature at a certain area, too. Sometimes the light don't go on till you're 25, sometimes 28, sometimes it goes on at 19. So the light went on for me when Anne became pregnant, and of course,
with flunking out of 2 colleges when I went in to McNeese State on a basketball scholarship, they sent me a letter, and they said if I don't maintain a C average, I'll lose my scholarship and I'll be asked to leave school. So I put that letter on my wall, and I could read that every day, and that was great motivation to straighten out.
All right. I like that. So my next question then is, thinking about our theme, think and do. What comes to mind when dealing with challenges?
Well, I think we have to have goals. I mean, that to me, if you don't have any goals, you don't have any challenges. You're kind of stagnant. So, and I tell you what, people ask me why I was so successful at MacArthur, and I was, and basketball, it was failure. At MacArthur, they gave me all the students that did not like school, that were not successful in school, and I knew exactly how to handle them because that was me 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years before. So I think that failure is really important, and the reason for my success at MacArthur was the fact that I had all that failure earlier, and I was able to deal with it. And as bad a student as I just described to you, sitting here right now, I have a master's degree. So you can't quit. You got to hang in there. You got to set goals, and you got to be tough. Just have a tough skin, and don't stop. Don't let anything stop you. Positive attitude, yeah. And I coached the whole time at MacArthur from a positive attitude, and it really worked. The kids, all of them became really good players, and every time I saw them, I told them how great they were and how much I loved them, and it turned out really well. Yeah.
I'm a witness that it did.
Yeah, all the kids. We still stay in touch. When I got to MacArthur, it was 1974. I met those kids. They were 13, 14 years old. I get together with them, a lot of them, every 3 or 4 months. Now they're in their 55 or 60. And the relationship, the bond between a high school coach and a player is tremendous. It's just great. There's a love there. And I think about these kids all the time, and they stayed with me for 4 years, and it was just fantastic relationship. Yeah. And one of the things they tell me there, we had really a lot of discipline then, and you could do it back then, maybe even better now. No cell phones, no iPods. The kids, they tell me that they're never late. I said, Coach, I was a fanatic on time. So they had to be at practice 15, 20 minutes earlier. So he said, Coach, I'm never late. And the discipline at the time, Coach, I didn't like it when I was 14, 15, but now that I'm 55 years old, I'm looking back and said, you did everything well. I'm raising my son just like you coached me. What a great thing, Yeah, just fantastic. Yeah.
Nice. Some of your answers were definitely, you sound like you're far away now.
No, I'm sorry, I must have dropped the phone, yeah. Can you hear me better now? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you better now. Okay,
gotcha.
Well, I must say that some of your answers has definitely caught me by surprise in a very good way. Thank you for sharing. It's been wonderful, and now I'm going to give it to the team and see in your sharing, see what has created for them in their lives and the difference your sharing has created. And I'm going to start with Mr. Ronnie.
Wow, you would start with me.
I know, right?
Yeah, I used to really like you. And, yeah, I still do. But, okay, wow. Coach Walt, there are times that I feel guilty about my failures. And listening to you share, what reminded me was when you said that the kids that were like clowning, acting up, those were the kids that you got because you know how to deal with them. Because that was you. That was you.
Yes. Yep.
Whether it's in business, and I worked in corporate America forever, and or in private business, or in any organization. I'll put it like this: I get them kids. And I'm like,
Yeah, I knew what I knew what.
And I'm the one, and I don't mean like I never work with children, so to speak. I mean these are adults, and this, but I might as well say I'm just saying as an analogy, they were my kids.
Yeah.
The ones who.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even in the enterprise, it's like wait just a minute. You know what? They're the perfect ones for me. They were always the perfect ones for me to be working with. So I just appreciate that. And just to say it more succinctly, what I get is my failures were nothing but God training me.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
For what I was going to need to work with people so that they would work with me in life. So,
you know how you know which buttons to push.
Don't give away all the secrets, Coach.
Yeah.
All right, so that's what but really that had me just be present to that and thankful that I've had the failures I've had. Because they truly have made me a better man. And I ain't ashamed of, but I'm not trying to look good for nobody. I want to win the game. So before I get on the soapbox, back to you, Diva Nikki.
Well, thank you. And now, Diva Candace, what would you like to share?
Okay, so, first I just want to acknowledge a comment background that we have. So I grew up in the Catholic Church.
Yes. Yeah.
So I totally understand, like that Catholicism background in the family and, like just that connection that you get from the church. And, in your sharing, I think sometimes, like I'm so concerned about failing that sometimes I think that, I never start, or I'm too busy trying to think through, every possible outcome. So then I don't start what I intend to start, or it doesn't work the way I plan for it to work. So then I'm beating myself up for the failure.
Yeah, I don't feel that way. I've never pushed on anybody else. I coached thousands of kids. No one ever knew that I went to church every Sunday, and they didn't know what religion I was. I never used race to motivate. I coached all black players. I'm white, and that never entered into it, race. I never used my religion on any kid, and I think it's a personal thing, because God, in your eyes, he may be black and 6'4". In my eyes, he may be yellow and 5'10". I think it's up to the individual. I'm taking out of it what I want to. In fact, I heard a great explanation one time that I'm a cafeteria Catholic. I'll pick out the ones that I like, and then the ones that bother me, I ignore them. So, I have a personal relationship with the Lord, and it may be completely different than somebody else. So I really don't discuss religion. I think the two things you're not supposed to do is religion and politics, right? But anyway, I think it's just a personal thing, and you just accept what you want to, because there's some things I think it's out to lunch, and other things to me that I use the ones that are important to me. Yeah, is that a pretty good explanation?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is there anything else, Diva Candace?
No.
Well, for myself, I'm going to tell you, I can relate to that, having your back against the wall.
Yeah, we perform sometimes a little better that way. Yeah.
Yeah, you perform, and so for me, you just kind of really brought that back to remembrance. And I'm very, very grateful for that. So thank you again for such a powerful sharing. And we will hear more from Coach Walt Kaser later on in the show. For now, I'm going to ask for Diva Candace to please take us to break.
Stay tuned for the corner. We are featuring music from EK in my interview with our guest, Walt Kaser.
Thank you. Welcome back. We give it all to you on Grow Your Mind and Money, and we do it all with love. Now it is time for the corner with Mr. Ronnie, so let's give him a smooch and a roll and get ready for this. Mr. Ronnie.
All right. Thank you, Diva Nikki. And welcome to the corner. We are featuring music from EK, who is out of Dubai. Now, we asked the team to vote whether the track should get a smooch and a rose, or if it needs more fertilizer. Let's hear Shaolin Freestyle. DJ Rogan.
Saw you walking past my window pane, trying to tell me what you vision me to be. Think you wanna see exactly. Told you that I didn't mean to let you in the way that I did. Told you you could kinda circle my way, come and step into my dojo. I'm trying to see if you can bend your soul the same way I do. Does your Shaolin style match mine? Shaolin style match mine. I'm trying to take these songs and represent Wu and keep you all the ways that you've been through. I'm trying to stay true to you, trying to stay true to you. Think you could? Does your Shaolin style match mine? Cause I'm trying to see if I've been, would you push back? If I've been, would you push back? So don't trip, don't think that you gon' let it go. Let it take control. Does it Shaolin style match mine? Does it Shaolin? Challenge when you fantasize these. Find me on 311 days and now in the sunrises. I wanna see how you receive it. When the prophecy comes your way, to rise up to meet it. You settle, cover me, I box them out till they come your way. Searching for true things, real things. Would you be game to keep things? Loyal to what we create, loyal to how we shift ways. Trying to see if you mirror what I'm mirroring. Is this time to fade on me? Does it Shaolin style match mine? Cause I'm trying to see if I call you, would you call on me? If I call on you, would you call on me? Yeah, yeah. So don't trip, don't think that you gon' let it go. Let it take control. Does it Shaolin style match mine? Does it Shaolin? Does it Shaolin style match mine? Does it Shaolin? Oh God.
All right. That was Shaolin's Freestyle.
I thought it was. I give a thumbs up.
well, we don't have to guess Coach Walt's vote. he like, look, I'm coming with it. Okay, Diva Nikki, how say you? Smooching the roses for free fertilizer.
I like the music and I like her voice. I like her sound in the flow, but I don't like them together. So it's a no.
That is wild. I apologize. What was your verdict?
I'm sorry. It is a, no, I'm not. I apologize, but that is fertilizer for me. The music to me, the production, it did not go together. The flow, it is no. No.
All right, fertilizer. We have one thumbs up and we have one fertilizer. How say ye, Diva Candace?
I give her a smooch and a rose. I do think it was a lot of background noise.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So it was go ahead. So it was a little difficult to hear what she was saying over the music. Although the melody was really nice and it sounded, like it flowed pretty well.
I thought if I could have heard it better, that's why I gave it a thumbs up, because I think that it wasn't real clear. And if it was, that would have been a good song.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So we have a thumbs up, we got a smooch and a rose, and we got some fertilizer. The panel is all over the place. So, EK, you must be doing something right.
No. You got to vote.
I will vote. And I'm just taking my opportunity to run my mouth. And I see it's going to be a rough night. And I'm giving her a smooch and a rose. and clean up that. Don't be overshadowing the music. I know this is supposed to be silent freestyle. And it is time to continue our interview. Oh, if you like the music from EK, you can check her out on Old Grumpy Radio Network. Now it's time to continue our interview with the coach, Walt Kaser, champion for humanity. Over to Diva Candace.
Thank you, Coach Walt, for staying with us for your interview with me. I'm so excited.
Oh, you're welcome. I've enjoyed it. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. In this segment, we will learn more about what had you become a coach and what inspired you to create a nationally recognized Basketball Hall of Fame.
Well, I loved basketball from the time I was 10 years old. I ate, slept, and drank it. So I collected every sport magazine that I could, and I took the pictures out of most of them. So when I lived at home, until I was almost 22 years old, in New Jersey and New York, both. I've lived both places. I had my room. Wherever I lived, my bedroom was always full of pictures. So I actually started with the Hall of Fame back when I was, 11, 12, 13 years old. And then when I started coaching at MacArthur, I put up all the pictures that I could find, magazine covers and trophies and anything that we had. And the players, to a person, they'd say, Coach, we'd go in the locker room sometimes at 2. We wouldn't really feel like practicing after school all day. But once we got in that locker room and saw all the pictures and the motivational slogans that I had, they said they couldn't wait to get out there and practice. So that's how I really got into it. And then when I moved up here 22 years ago, my wife, we live in a two-level home, but my wife and I do just a one-level. So the whole upstairs is about 4 rooms full of just pictures and memorabilia from 1930, 1940, 1950 Sports Illustrated covers. A lot of famous people. I've had pictures with Joe DiMaggio, Julius Erving.
Hello,
yeah.
Coach Walt. Coach Walt. I apologize for interrupting, but Diva Candace has a question she was waving a little hand.
Okay, yes, I'm sorry.
No, you're awesome, and she was waving a little hand. Diva Candace, back to you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Diva. Go ahead. Yeah.
That's okay. Coach Walt, can you please share the aha moment when you knew in your heart of hearts that it was time for you to be a professional coach?
Okay, as I told you earlier, I pretty much failed on just about everything. But there's a guy who was the head of recreation in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. He needed a coach for some 14, 15-year-old kids. I was 18, 19, just going nowhere. So he said, would you take the team? They play every Saturday. So I took the team every Saturday, just gave them the knowledge that I had. I didn't really know how to coach, but just from a player standpoint. Well, one day after the season, he came up to me. He says, you got a great gift. And I said, I do? He says, yes. He says, those kids, you had their attention. They paid attention to you. They did what you told them. And he says, I think you could be a great coach. And that afternoon, I was 18. I went left, and I said, wow, I'm going to be a coach. Yeah. So that's what started it. Yeah.
Yes. So, Coach Walt, thank you for sharing that. And what were some of the challenges that you had?
Well, when I first started coaching, I didn't know how to coach. It was from a playing, as I just said, it was from, you have to learn how to coach because you have to break it down. But when I first started coaching, I started breaking it down as a player, what I did as a player. So a couple of kids asked me, how do you shoot that jump shot, Coach? And I really couldn't break it down. I didn't know how from a playing standpoint. So I had to learn how to break every fundamental of the game down, how to teach how to dribble, how to teach how to rebound, how to teach how to shoot. And that's what the beginning, that's what I had to learn, how to coach. Yeah, so I picked a lot of brains. I went to basketball camps, and I met a lot of college coaches, and I asked them, a lot of questions, and I got a lot of help.
Okay. So, Coach Walt, can you please share the aha moment when you made the choice to create a basketball Hall of Fame?
Well, my wife just wasn't going to go upstairs. We had the 4 rooms up there, and I just said, I'm going to take all 4 rooms then, and not many people would do that. In fact, a lot of my friends, I've had a lot of people go up there and watch this. It's up there. I've had the room upstairs for 22 years. There's been hundreds of people go up there and look at it, and they always say, boy, your wife must be a wonderful person that she allows you to do this. Most women wouldn't let you take 4 rooms and just put up pictures all over the place. So that's how I started. And if anybody listening wants to find out about the room, if you Google Walt Kaser, Kaser, the Dallas Morning News, Hoop House, basketball's a hoop, HOOP house. There's a big stories about that Hall of Fame that the Dallas Morning News has done stories on it. Yeah. So did you want me to repeat? Did you want me to repeat that or?
No, sir.
No.
Okay.
So your wife is very generous. And what has been your personal measure for success?
I think it's doing the best you can. In other words, your success may be, you may be feel you're successful more than me, but as long as I do the best with the talents that God made me, and you do the best with the talents God gave you, probably won't be the same, but I think we're both successful. If I get a kid in the gym that runs the court in 4 or 5 seconds, and then I get another kid that takes 9 seconds, but he did the best he could, to me they're both successful. Reaching your full potential. That's my definition of success.
Got it. Can you please share the smile you had when you realized your efforts in creating a basketball Hall of Fame were being recognized nationally?
Well, it felt like a great accomplishment. I knew, let me put it this way, I knew a lot of people didn't have that. I'm sure how many people are going to have 4 rooms upstairs full of pictures. It was great, satisfaction, and the fact that these magazines and the newspaper did articles on it. A lot of people found out that I had that. It was a confidence builder, a feeling of accomplishment. Yeah, it was great.
We're asking the team to please share what they see about their lives from Walt's sharing and the differences sharing has created. And Mr. Ronnie, we'll start with you.
Thank you, Diva Candace. And wow. And I know that Diva Candace is going to acknowledge you for the group, so I will suppress that urge. But, Coach Walt, where, the thing about your life and my life is the part where you said our success may look different.
Yeah. My potential may be different than yours, but we could both be successful. We could both do as much as we can with the talents that God gave us. So then we're both successful, but you may be way out in front of me, and
by some artificial measure. Because it's like an old coach, old basketball coach for Houston, and what was it? Something said it's what's in the heart, and God always knows your heart. Did you live up to the potential?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
that is in your heart, or did you sell out to being petty and looking good?
Yeah.
So
I have a definition. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, when I go, I want them to put this on my tombstone: used all up.
Yeah, that's success. But I have a definition of discipline here that I had on the wall of my locker room: doing what you have to do, doing it as well as you can, and doing it that way every time. Powerful. That's that was my definition of discipline. Yeah, well, yeah, you're giving that 100%. That's powerful. Yeah. And that's why I try to impart on the kids. And it must have worked, because they all stay in touch with me right now, and they thank me for the life lessons, and that's maybe more important than the basketball, because the basketball is strictly a gift for a certain amount of time. None of us are playing anymore. So, but the skills that they learn it will carry them until they're 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. A lot longer than basketball. The skills to live life to its fullest.
Thank you. And back to Diva Candace. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Diva Nikki, we're going to ask you to share, what you see about your life out of Coach Walt's sharing.
Hall of Fame. Personal Halls of Fame. I think too many times we wait as a society, for others to celebrate our work and to showcase our work, but to create something myself, and to know that it's okay to create something myself as a demonstration and as a display of my journey and accomplishments, as well as trials, things that I've tried and didn't go real far with it, but at least I tried. I took a few steps. I took 10 steps or 20 steps, or I did it for so long, and then when it was done, it was done. Instead of just putting things in a corner or in a box or on a shelf, having your Hall of Fame, having my Hall of Fame. Well, really, that's all.
Okay. So this is Diva Candace, and Coach Walt, I just want to thank you for sharing your life experiences and your motivations with us. And, what I received out of what you said was like your aha moment when you realized, that you wanted to be a coach, and like some of the challenges that you saw for yourself to first learn how to be a coach.
Yep.
Because
Sure.
Yes, sir. Because that's a great, you need to learn how to do something before you can actually measure your success in something. And, Coach, we could continue to share forever, but it looks like Diva Nikki is ready to take us to break, okay?
Okay. All right. Do you want me to stick around?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Okay. Sure. Oh, yeah. I just wasn't sure. Oh, fine. Okay, I'll be here. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. No, thank you. Up next, Shiny Sunshine Lounge Plus. Lose the baggage. Please stay tuned for more with Coach Walt Kaser. Thank you.
Welcome back. We give it all to you on Grow Your Mind and Money, and we do it all with love. Shani left the keys to the lounge with Ronnie B. Let's see what's going on in the lounge.
Hey, Diva Candace. Let me just say this. If Shani knew that you was hanging out, she would have gave you the keys to the lounge. Welcome to Shiny Sunshine Lounge, where we feature a mixture of goodies that will stimulate your mind and maybe have you tap your feet. Tonight, we went in the archives. That's right. We have an awesome poet, Kamiko Farrar, performing Miss Bang. Oh, let's hear this one.
A woman is so exquisitely designed that she's like a beautiful show of fireworks. She crackles and sparkles and illuminates the blackness of the night sky. And with each new burst and bang of light, she immerses herself in the colors of passion, power, joy, and love. But in all her glory and marvelous splendor, something's missing. She could have everything, but the pink rose on a co-worker's desk makes her green with envy. And she longs to be Miss Jones, Miss Robinson, Miss Smith, or Mrs. whatever his last name is. See, she's grown bitter from too many dark days and too many white tear-stained cheeks and way too many years of just treated. So just like that fireworks display, her defeated and mistreated spirit falls down to the ground, battered, bruised, and charred. But each day she starts a new show. Lip gloss popping, head held high, working that red dress that hugs her hips just right, so her thighs make horizontal figure eights when she walks. Oh, she has issues, this is true, but she'll never be misrepresented. Joy shows on her face like the bright yellow sunshine of a kindergarten painting, even though something's missing. And with her false eyelashes, Gucci purse, and BCBG heels, her outer representative screams, hey, look at me, I have my stuff together. But that brother can't figure her out. He throws his hands in the air and wonders why she won't let him through. Well, it's because the last time she gave a relationship a try, she was misused. Now, I feel sorry for the dude, because now he has to peel away all her past pain like the skin of an orange so she doesn't feel mishandled. Because in times of betrayal, the second hand barely moves, and she just can't hurry up and get over it because inside something's missing. But that void inside will continue to grow bigger and bigger until she completely learns to rely on the ultimate way maker and gap filler. Because when the colors of heartache, pain, anger, and despair get too much for us to bear, oh, it's the Holy Spirit that steps in and soothes the misused, speaks up for the misrepresented, redeems the mistreated, and buys out misfortune. Then that sister girl recognizes she's an extraordinary girl, and with a renewed and rejuvenated spirit, her yesterday blends into the creamy dust of old apartment walls, and her life is no longer a show for the testimony, and the blackest stains of misfortune are washed away. It don't matter if she's sprinkled, poured, or submerged. It's all by clear water, cleansing her soul and changing her name from miseducated to Miss Bang.
Okay, that was Kamiko Farrar with Miss Bang. Let's check Diva Candace. Snap, snaps, or some rotten tomatoes?
So it's snap, and I was trying to hear everything. And again, the sound was kind of, like it was kind of difficult to hear everything that she was saying. And it sounded like a woman who was like looking for empowerment. So, snap.
All right, snappity. Diva Nikki.
I like it. Snap.
Coach Walt. Are you getting some snaps or some rotten tomatoes, sir?
I couldn't really hear it. My hearing is not like it was, a couple of years ago. So, but she talked so loud and fast that I just picked up a few words. The only thing I could think of was something about her life, right? The way her life was going and how she was living it, I guess. Am I right?
Some of that. She said a lot, and it was fast.
And I really couldn't hear a whole lot, but just picking up certain words that it was like about her life, talking about her life. Wasn't he? Maybe either complaining or happy.
I'll just say it was empowering for men and women.
Oh, okay.
Okay. She men could get a lot, women could get a lot from her words. It was empowering. And I apologize for the communication there. And as soon as we get that $1 million budget, we've got it taken care of. But
that'd be good. I hope you get it fast.
I'm working. I'm turned. Look, I'm not just thinking. I'm doing.
Good.
So now I'm going to get a selection, a couple of snaps. If you enjoyed the performance from Kamiko Ferrari, you can check her out on YouTube and the Old Grumpy Radio Network. Over to Diva Nikki for Lose the Baggage. Over to you, Diva Nikki.
Thank you. Now, if you compared Grow Your Mind and Money to an airline, you would notice we have no planes, no check-in lines, no attendants, pilots, or flights. What we promise is we will support you in losing your baggage. Baggage in this case is in the form of a complaint, but not just any old complaint. Oh, no. A complaint that has persisted over time. Now, this complaint does not have to be something traumatic or upsetting, and it could be. The complaint can be as simple as, I wish my spouse would take out the garbage. It pisses me off when they just leave it for me to take out. Why can't they just take it out? If you're someone who never complains, maybe you have nonverbal complaints. Something or someone rubs you wrong, but you always let it go. But it really does rub you the wrong way. And you might get a little pissy about it, but you don't say anything. Consider that's a complaint. We're going to do an exercise with Diva Candace and Mr. Ronnie. Now, we did ask our Coach Kaser, our guest, to also participate, but he chose to sit this one out, and that is perfectly fine.
No, I think I'll join in. I'll join in if it's okay.
It absolutely is.
Sure. Okay. All right. Just tell me when.
Okay. So the exercise is looking at an area of life that is important to them, to you, for a persistent complaint. Let me give you a little context for our conversation. As human beings, we love to be right. And often what hides something from our view is our righteousness. In our current world, it's not righteousness. We are simply right. And we don't want to hear anything that might change that view. So, create the following categories: well-being, relationships, community, faith, or spirituality.
I think I'm going to back out again. I thought it was something else involved, but no, I'm going to just listen. Thank you.
Okay, that is perfectly fine, Coach Kaser.
Okay, yeah.
So what we would like you to do is select a category where you would like to have a breakthrough. Under that category, write down a complaint or issue you have that has persisted for a while. That's that consistent complaint. And when that issue comes up, what well-being rises with it? Do you get angry or sad? Maybe resigned or indifferent? Whatever way you feel expressed is a way of being. And if you rarely complain, select a category and answer this question. What have I been putting up with or resisting or giving up on? So write the complaint that keeps persisting in that area. And write what way are you being around this issue, or how do you behave? Now, we're doing the exercises with you. Diva Candace and Mr. Ronnie will share as we go through the process. So, Diva Candace.
Yes.
No. Back up. What is the future that immediately gets created when this issue comes up?
What is the future that immediately gets created when this issue comes up? How do you behave? How do you feel? What actions do you take? Now let me check in with Diva Candace and Mr. Ronnie and see how they're doing with the exercise. Diva Candace, will you please record the responses for us?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Mr. Ronnie, let's step through the process. Please share the category, persistent complaint, and way you behave or feel when this issue arises. What is the future that gets created immediately when this issue arises?
Okay, the category is relationships.
Relationships. Okay.
Right. And my persistent complaint is that there'll be an opportunity where I can forward the enterprise greatly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll either lack the funds or I will lack the resources. So I have the funds, but then I'm going to have the people who can work it. Or, darn it, I ain't got the funds, and I got plenty of people who want to work it. And it's like one or the other, but never both of them, where when the opportunity is there, whether it's the funds or the people, where they're both in line. It's either one is out of sync with the other. And the way I behave around that is disappointed and discouraged. And the future that gets immediately created when that scenario happens is that I'm going to bust my tail to have it work, and odds are it won't work out, and I'll feel like I failed. It's like it was a waste of time. So the future that immediately gets created is I'll be wasting my time. So yeah, that clarifies it. So yeah, the future that gets created is I'll be wasting my time. All right, that's it.
Okay. But I'm over here long-handed. Not shorthand this time, longhand. Thank you, Ronnie B, for sharing. Diva Candace, what say you? Please share the category, persistent complaint, and way you... Wait a minute, Ronnie, Mr. Ronnie.
Yes?
Is that a wash, rinse, repeat?
Hey, wash, rinse, repeat. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being present to that. Wash, rinse, repeat. Thank you.
Thank you. Now over to you, Diva Candace. Please share your category, persistent complaint, and the way you behave or feel when this issue arises. And what is the future that gets created immediately when this issue arises?
So, for me, it's well-being. And, I plan my days, and I intend to get more done in a day than I can get done in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure that I get the medically recommended amount of rest, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm resigned in this area because I don't know how I'm going to manage it all. And the future is that, I will continue to go into these different things and, like not manage my rest well, and then it has effect on my well-being. And then I have to get the amount of rest that I'm supposed to have because my body is like, letting me know that I need to get rest. So, it'll show up in physical ways. And how do I feel? I feel sick. And then I have to manage, my schedule a little bit better.
And would that be wash, rinse, repeat?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you. I believe I got it. So great work. Good job, Diva Candace and Mr. Ronnie. Now, I haven't seen the future. You're welcome. Haven't seen the future that gets created immediately when this issue arises. What is now possible in dealing with this issue that would give you freedom and power? Diva Candace, well, no. Mr. Ronnie, I'm going to start with you and your issue and the impact of future that you shared. And go and recreate and tell us what's possible. So your complaint, Ronnie, was relationship.
Well, Diva Candace is the one who kind of reads that back. That's kind of why she recorded it.
Did you record it, Diva Candace?
I did.
You did? Okay, go ahead and read it back for us. I'm not.
So, Mr. Ronnie said relationships, and he said, there's an opportunity where he will forward the enterprise greatly, and then he'll either lack the funds or the resources.
Is that right?
Keep going. Y'all are doing great.
So that was what I got. And then it sounded like, some of the relationships that you have with family and, people in your life, like you put those things off.
Okay. All right. I thank y'all. And, so just to clarify, you got it that it's an opportunity to come up where I can forward the enterprise greatly. And either I lack the money or I lack the people to implement. And where I'm left is like, hey, I'll bust my tail to make it happen, and then after all is said and done, it'll just be a failure. And but what I see is that you know what? Sometimes you got to be the one to get out there. And if you always waiting so that everything could be perfect, explained, you don't get a goddamn thing done. But running your mouth. So, what I learned is that, what I get present to is that maybe I got more courage than I give myself credit for. I may not be the smartest, but maybe I got some courage. So what I see is the possibility for owning that I have courage. And that's it. That'd be it.
Okay. And now, Diva Candace, for yourself, what is your issue and the impact that you shared? And what do you now see possible?
So what's the issue is like my well-being, and what's possible is to like be healthy and have well-being be at the forefront. So the possibility of being well.
Okay. Well, now, thank you. Thank you, Diva Candace, and thank you, Mr. Ronnie, for sharing in the exercise. And we want to give a special thanks to Coach Kaser for being so generous and patient with us.
You know what, Diva Nick, I'm going to one little question, okay?
What's that?
Diva Candace.
Yes.
If your well-being was handled, you're in the future, your well-being is handled, well-being is no issue, what would be possible?
The possibilities are endless. I mean, I would be, doing my counseling. I would be doing my real estate. I would be Superwoman, basically handling things.
You'd be Superwoman. Hey! Now, isn't that a little more inspiring?
Yes.
Well, I would just kind of, like maybe recommend. I'm not a coach or anything, but you might want to take that on as a new possibility. I just kind of feel it.
Got it. Okay. Got it.
Back to you, Diva.
Thank you for that, Mr. Ronnie.
Y'all are doing great.
All right. Well, now, thank you. Again, thank you, Diva Candace and Mr. Ronnie, for sharing in the exercise. And thank you, Coach Kaser, for your patience. This exercise is not about fixing anything, audience. It's not about fixing anything. It is about providing an access to power that you can create by being present to the impact of your occurring world. Now, Diva Candace, take us away to break.
Coming up in the next segment, the finale, Coach Walt's final interview and future wealth.
Welcome back. Thank you. We give it all to you on Grow Your Mind and Money, and we do it all with love. Now, over to Diva Candace for the finale.
Coach Walt?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for sharing. I have a few more questions, so let's go.
Yeah, sure.
What challenges do you see lurking in the waters that will try to slow you down from making a difference?
Well, I guess, my team, I've had them for years, so I have a great relationship with them. Probably the thing that would be slowing me down right now is if I met kids, say, tomorrow that I didn't know, they realize there's an 81-year-old man here talking to me. I'm not going to listen to him and have as much faith in him as those kids that I coached 30 years ago. So I notice the younger people today, as I get older, they get younger. And when I work with some of the kids, they certainly wouldn't have the same confidence in me that the players that I coached when I was 40, 50 years old, they wouldn't have the same attitude, I don't think.
Coach, thank you for sharing so candidly. Please share 2 pitfalls you have seen people fall into when it comes to being consistent in their actions or having their dreams and desires.
I think a lot of it's habits. People ask me what I coached at MacArthur. I told them habits. Mm-hmm. My team had impeccable habits, good habits. I work out at the YMCA every day, and I see people come in that want to have good habits, but they have bad habits. They'll work out one day, they'll quit for a week, work out another day, quit for 2 weeks. So they have bad habits. But I have developed, good habits with myself that I'm going to stick with something and be successful, where a lot of people, their habits are bad. They'll show up late, they'll get a little lazy here, a little lazy there. So I think my team had impeccable habits, and I think that's what's carried them through their later life. So I think that's big. Good habits are successful. Bad habits, no good. Yeah.
Coach Walt, is there one more pitfall besides habits, other than habits?
Well, I think devices. The drink too much. I don't smoke or drink. Never have, and I'm 81. I can pretty much do what I did 20 years ago, health-wise. I'm the same weight for 40 years. I work out every day. My wife works out every day. So friends of mine that have the pitfalls, they drink too much. They spend too much money. They're out too late at night. They don't have their priorities straight. So I think a lot of life is, to be honest with you, is 10% of what happens and 90% how you handle it. So I use that example in coaching. I could tell there's two kids in front of me. I tell one kid he's not very good. I tell the other kid that he's not very good. One says, I quit. The other one says, I'm going to get better, coach. I'm going to be a great player. See where I said the same thing to both kids, but one had a great attitude and the other guy had a bad attitude. So I think a lot of it's 10% what happens and 90% how you handle it. Some people have life skills that are really good. They can handle a lot of different adversity, where other people, they can't handle hardly any at all. So I try to, live by that, to handling the adversity. Yeah, not much you can do about it, so deal with it and go on.
Okay. Coach, would you please share with us one practice you use daily to keep yourself in action and focus on the results you intend to produce?
Okay, I work out every day. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I go to the YMCA 3 miles away from my house, and I do 11 machines. I do 4 sets of 15. That's 60 times, but what lightweight, 30, 40, 50 pounds. Tuesday and Thursday, I go to LA Fitness, and I use the pool where I swim every day. Swimming is the greatest thing for the body, the joints, the knees, the back, and therefore that keeps me young. Working out is the fountain of youth, and it keeps you healthy. So those are the two things. And my wife does aerobics 4 days a week, so we work out. I think that's the thing that keeps us healthy and young. And I'm seeing the results. You'll see the results. People that don't stay with their program, they just work out once in a while. That's to me, it's like I used to tell the kids with their dedication, it's like banking. You put $5 in the bank, you get $5 out. You put $1,000 in the bank, you get $1,000 out. So every kid that I ever coached got out of it what he put into it. If you put a little bit in, that's all he got out. If you put a lot in, then he got a lot out. So I think it's you're not going to get cheated if you put do 100%, do a lot, you'll get a lot out of it. You start taking shortcuts and you're cheating here and cheating there, that's what you're going to get out of it too. So there again, we go back to habits.
That's true. What do you have on your plate? Like
Pardon? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What do you have on your plate, like things to do? How can our listeners learn more about you and your Basketball Hall of Fame?
Well, like I said to you earlier, they can Google. Sometimes I'm all over the world and in the United States, and the person I'm with, they don't know who I am, but they hear about the Hall of Fame, and I'll tell them to Google Walt Kaser, the Dallas Morning News, Hoop, Hoop, House, and they'll get a whole rundown on what I've done up there. Yeah. I've had it on 21 years. In fact, I've only had a few kids that go up, they enjoy the history of the game. If they don't know what went on in basketball in the late 40s and the early 50s, they'll find out upstairs. It's a great learning situation. But I've had it on so much each year. It's almost complete. I hardly have any place left to put anything more up. Yeah. But anybody can Google that and find out all about it.
Coach Walt, thank you so much for sharing all of the golden nuggets that you just shared with us.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. And team, anything you would like to share or acknowledge from the interviews? And Diva Nikki, we'll start with you.
I am, first of all, just very grateful and very honored to have had this time with Coach Kaser, to have a chance to feature him on our show, and just to hear the different nuggets he had to share. So many things that you said really took me by surprise. I guess you just never know what to expect, in asking these questions. But your answers about being a failure in school, not being very good at it, and the way you turn that around to such a positive.
Yep,
and
negative. It was a negative, next positive. Yep.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And not allowing that to be, not allowing that to define who you are or who you were, and just being so monumental. I consider you to be a staple figure in the families of all of your team players all these years, So for me, I just feel very rewarded and very refreshed from having this time with you, and thank you for sharing.
Oh, I enjoyed it, Nicole, and you tell Delvin I pray for him every day, and I love him.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, okay.
All right, thank you, Diva Nikki, for that acknowledgement. What about you, Mr. Ronnie?
Wow. I would need another show to acknowledge everything that there is to acknowledge. So I just want to say thank you and everything that Nikki said.
Well, thank you, too. I appreciate your thoughts.
All right. So, Coach Walt, there were so many golden nuggets that you just shared, over this interview and, just discussing the habits and how we need to work to maintain those habits daily, like the good habits of working out and making sure that we're taking care of ourselves and and honoring ourselves to do those things, that we say that we're planning to do. And
I used to tell the kids that when I taught physical education, I was worried about their health, and I used to tell them, you're only going to get one body, so you better take care of it. You're not going to get another one. So I think that's important, taking care of yourself, yeah.
And I also, want to acknowledge something that you mentioned because I, for one, and I'm a millennial, and, I always seek to understand and draw wisdom from wherever I can.
Yeah, smart. I did too.
Yes, sir. And I think that that's kind of it's becoming a lost, tool in the society that we live in today. Because
absolutely. Yeah, if I could say one more thing about the young people today, I'm concerned about the manners. I very rarely hear the words "excuse me," and I rarely hear the words "thank you." So I'm concerned, is that going to get maybe worse in the future? It seems like the cell phone and this electronics have just taken over. I just wonder if we're just forgetting the manners, good manners. Yeah.
Yeah. And I acknowledge your vulnerability there to discuss, how, you feel like, the kids that you've coached previously and the kids that you're coaching, like in the present may not look to you like the kids that you've previously coached.
Big difference, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So thank you for that, Coach Walt. And please stay for the rest of the show. Thank you for your sharing and being on Grow Your Mind and Money. It has been wonderful. Over to Diva Nikki for Future Wealth.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, thank you. All right. So here we are at Future Wealth. We experience the current world and future from conversations we choose to generate for having the future and the current world we desire, experienced, expressed, and producing results in our lives. So we have a little exercise intended to empower you in clearing the space so you can be present to your current world and future. Create the following categories. Holiday season, relationships, purpose, well-being, and finances. Under each category, answer this question. Where or with whom do I lack freedom or the future sucks? Next, answer these questions. How long have I lacked freedom, or the future sucks in this area, or with this person or a group of people? Am I willing to have a breakthrough in this area or with this person or group of people? Now, be honest. It is not good or bad if we're not willing to have a breakthrough. It's simply which is so. If you are willing to have a breakthrough in this area or with this person or a group of people, what conversation are you willing to have that will allow you to be vulnerable so others can see your strength? Yes, vulnerability is a strength. The access to power is communication. Your ability to be vulnerable is the key to your breakthrough. So keep working on this exercise during the week. If you have any questions or you need coaching, email us at divas@prosperousdivas.com. And remember, a world of peace and prosperity, one listener at a time. Until next time, grow your mind and money. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.